Discrete manufacturing is perhaps the most popular category among ERP systems in the manufacturing types, but they require very unique ERP capabilities. So, which are the discrete manufacturing ERP systems in 2024? That's what we are going to discuss in this video. So, let's dive in.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our number one priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta. I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation firm. We help our clients with ERP selection, enterprise technology strategy, implementation, as well as change management. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is going to be your discrete manufacturing ERP systems in 2024. So before we dig into the topic, let's define what is discrete manufacturing and how do we define that. So for the most part, discrete manufacturing category is going to be any of the physical products that use components as a whole, and that is going to be any of the products that you see around yourself. This is going to be your table, chairs, cars, airplanes, etc. These are not going to be any of the products that are going to be slightly more food-centric, chemical, pharma. All of those go through very different process from the manufacturing perspective. They are generally going to have a formula, and that formula balances all of the different ingredients. They have different constraints in those material types. For discrete, generally, it is going to be in the number of quantities. So that's how your materials are issued. So that is a real difference between your discrete manufacturing versus process. For discrete manufacturing, it's going to require very unique capabilities. Generally, when you mix these things, you are probably going to have challenges. So to compile this list, we consider different variables, and that is going to be your product share, acquisition strategy focused on discrete manufacturing. If the company is acquiring a lot of different capabilities related to discrete, then they generally rank higher on this list. Product roadmap, community, ecosystem, win rate, technology strategy, as well as the investors. So these are some of the variables that we look at when we compile to compile this list. So now let's look at the list. The 10 on our list is Plex. And Plex, their strength is going to be primarily in the MES focused architecture or MES first architecture. They have ERP capabilities as well, but the industries that are going to be really strong on the MES capabilities that are going to be slightly more shop floor heavy, that's where X is really strong. So among your discrete manufacturing companies, these are going to be your automotive companies. And in those automotive companies, they have far deeper last mile capabilities, compliance capabilities, etc. for your Ford as well as Toyota ecosystems. The other strengths that we are looking at for Plex is their technology is superior because they started as cloud native compared to some of the other systems that we have on the limitations that you are going to run into with Plex is their ERP layers are not as strong. They are going to be slightly weaker. So the moldability of the ERP to accommodate different business transactions, different business model, that's where you might run into some of the challenges. So that's where you are going to have the scalability challenges as well from the business model perspective. For example, since this is more of the prescriptive category, so your ecosystem as well as consulting base is not going to be as strong. So these are some of the challenges that you might run into while considering X. So that's number 10. For example, 9 on our list is Dalmia Works. And this is the old IKMS product. Generally, Dalmia Works did really well from the industry perspective and slightly more process-centric, for example, plastic. But any of the industries that are going to be around your plastic, especially from the discrete perspective, that's where your Dalmia Works is going to be a greater fit. They also have far tighter alignment with the CAD system SolidWorks. So any of the industries that are going to be on SolidWorks, they are going to have richer capabilities, far superior alignment from the product acquisition perspective. So the industries that you're looking at for Dalmia Works is your automotive, aerospace. They do really well, especially if they are going to be slightly more plastic-centric industries in those verticals. Now, some of the other strengths that we have from the Dalmia Works perspective is that discrete plus process manufacturing capabilities. So any of the industries, if they are primarily discrete, but they might also have process manufacturing line, for example, that is very common in your packaging-centric industries or medical device-centric industries. For those industries, Dalmia Works could be a great fit. Then the supply chain capabilities. For some of the industries, you are going to find the complete suite that is going to be pre-baked, pre-configured, pre-integrated. So you don't have to invest as much in doing that. With some of the other solutions, these capabilities are acquired through third parties. So you have different challenges such as your vendor risk, integration risk. The implementation is going to be slightly more expensive, but with Dalmia Works, you have that included as part of your suite. The limitations that you are going to run into with Dalmia Works is the technology is not as modern. They have not done as much investment compared to some of the other vendors. Even the other vendors that were late in the game, they have announced that they are upgrading it to the cloud native tech stack. So Dalmia Works has not done that, so it's still very legacy. Like the other, it is not going to be scalable for all discrete industries. Especially if your business model is going to be complex, you have layers for many different industries. That's where you might run into issues. And again, the consulting base as well as ecosystem is going to be fairly similar as your Plex. That is going to be limited just because this is your prescriptive category. So that's number 9. Now, number 8 on our list is QAD. And QAD is very strong in automotive supply chain heavy companies. And these are going to be some of the commoditized products, consumer centric products. That's where QAD does really well. And those industries are really strong from the supply chain planning perspective as well. They are going to have far superior capabilities as part of the suite from the supply chain perspective, just because for these industries, these capabilities are far more intertwined, embedded. They need to be part of the suite. So that's where QAD really shines. The other strengths that you are looking for QAD is very similar to your Dalmia Works. Here also you are going to find discrete plus process manufacturing capabilities that are going to be included as part of the suite. But the lenses that you have for Dalmia Works as well as QAD are slightly different. The industries that they target is different. The manufacturing processes that they are targeting is slightly different as well. The integration as well as suite capabilities that you are going to get are going to be slightly different. QAD also has very global capabilities. So if you require processes such as your number two, vendor collaboration, and that is very common in supply chain heavy industries. So that's where QAD is a great fit. The limitations that you're going to run into with your QAD is that even though they have announced that they are upgrading their technology, but it might take few years before this version is going to be stable. Initially, there are going to be some modules that they might upgrade. So some modules might in between, and those are the ones that might cause challenges with your implementation. So you might want to now numbers into that, how stable the version is, and which modules have been updated, which modules have not been updated. And then the other limitations are going to be very similar to your X or Dalmia Works, which is going to be your ecosystem or the consulting base is not going to be as strong just because this is slightly more prescriptive category. Oh, number 8. Now, number 7 on our list is Oracle Cloud ERP, which is slightly different from your previous 3. This is slightly more generalized ERP system designed for your large global publicly traded companies. And generally, these companies require the international financial consolidation. They are trying to host many different business models, many different geographies as part of one solution, just because they require end-to-end traceability for these companies. Just because of these reasons, they are not going to have the industry specific or the last mile capabilities. Their suite is not going to be as tailored as you are going to find with solutions such as your QAD or Dalvia Works. The other strengths that you're looking at from the Oracle Cloud ERP perspective is that ERP layers are going to be far more moldable. They are designed to support many different business models. So you are going to have very diverse product. The other prescriptive products are not going to be as diverse. So depending upon your goal, whether you are looking for slightly more generalized moldable product versus you are looking for a tailored product when you are going to be on budget, that's when your prescriptive categories are going to be slightly superior. But if your goal is to get a product that can support many different business models, many different transactions, that's where your solutions such as your Oracle Cloud ERP are going to be a superior fit. The other strengths that we have is the global compliance localization. And again, they are going to be supported in many different countries. The prescriptive solutions might not be supported in as many countries. The limitations that you are looking at from the Oracle Cloud ERP perspective is the last mile capabilities, especially the suite, the integration that you are going to get with those prescriptive products. They are going to be through your third party vendors. So again, you are going to have the vendor risk. Sometimes they might not be as well coded, documented. So even though Oracle Cloud ERP may be a great product, but these add-ons may not be as well adopted or as well coded. So you might run into challenges because of those, even though there might not be any problems in the core product. In general, the implementation is going to be slightly more expensive, or you are dealing with duplicated effort among different vendors. You are also dealing with several different integration that you might be able to get pre-baked with the other systems. And in this, since this is slightly larger product, that is going to require far more time in tailoring, customizing, configuring these capabilities, the same capabilities that are already going to be wired as part of the suite. Oracle Cloud ERP also requires very mature internal IT org, and if you don't have that, if you're very limited on budget, then this might not be the best solution for you. So that's number 7. Now, number 6 on our list is Acumatica. And Acumatica is a better fit for smaller discrete manufacturing companies. They are going to be predominantly present in fewer countries, US, Canada, maybe UK, Australia. They might require far deeper operational capabilities. They might not care as much for the financial consolidation. They might be okay in keeping these different countries in different instances just because there might not be as much operational or financial synergies between those companies. So if you are going to be in a couple of countries or primarily a US based company, then Acumatica could be a great fit. The strengths from the Acumatica perspective is discrete companies when, let's say, if they require CPU-centric processes, or they might be present in field service, or for example, let's say if you are building very large appliances where you also require the service-centric capabilities, just because you might have service-centric business model as part of your business model, then you would need that. So for those cases, Acumatica could be a great fit because it can accommodate several different business model, your field service, distribution, manufacturing, construction, all of that as part of the same product, same database. So you are going to have far more traceability among these business processes. They don't need to be as siloed overall from the capabilities perspective. So that's where Acumatica's real strength is. And then you have the technology, which is superior than some of the legacy products. And the Acumatica's pricing model could also be a great fit for seasonal companies. So if you are going to be, for example, let's say in the school supply manufacturing business, those are generally very seasonal business, or you are going to be in construction manufacturing businesses, those could be seasonal as well. So for those businesses, Acumatica is going to be a great fit just because sometimes from the pricing perspective, you might get cheaper licensing. The limitations that you are looking at from the Acumatica's perspective is that the process manufacturing capabilities are not natively supported as part of the solution. You have third-party add-ons available, but again, you are dealing with different vendors, different SOWs, different legal risks. So that is going to be a challenge with them, especially in business models where you require process manufacturing as part of your discrete manufacturing. And again, the examples are going to be your medical device, packaging line. That's where you require all of those capabilities. And then they also don't have the quality module that is owned by Acumatica. So again, you with other add-on vendor. So that's going to be a risk. And then their global consolidation capabilities are going to be as prominent as I mentioned. So that's number 6. Number 5 on our list is SAP S/4HANA. And SAP S/4HANA has very similar positioning as your Oracle Cloud ERP. It's slightly bigger product designed for a global financial consolidation when you are keeping many different business models, many different business processes as part of the same solution. When you require that end-to-end traceability, but you don't care for that industry-specific capabilities, that's where your SAP S/4HANA is going to be a better fit. The strength from the SAP S/4HANA perspective is the ERP layers for complex organizations and the best of breed products that they have. For example, your success factors or EWM, etc. Those solutions are going to be great fit in creating that best of breed experience, but that is not going to provide the tailored experience for specific industries. For those, either you need to customize or you need to get add-ons, and the integration is going to be slightly more expensive. So in general, when you look at the diversity of the solution, where you can support many different business models, but you are not limited in your budget, then your SAP S/4HANA could be a great solution. And if you require the global compliance and localization capabilities, very similar to your Oracle Cloud ERP, then your SAP S/4HANA is going to be a better. All the limitations that we are looking at from the SAP S/4HANA perspective is the last mile capabilities or the industry specific capabilities that you are acquiring. They are going to be through your third party vendors. So again, you increase that vendor risk when you are going to have these capabilities. If you require some of these capabilities that are not going to have as much impact on your core ERP data, core ERP processes, any of the solutions that touch the inventory or the core transactions, then generally those are going to be okay in acquiring through third party because they are not going to have as much integration implications. But let's say if your core capabilities, for example, let's say if you don't have the process manufacturing capability and you are utilizing a component that is very thick from the add-on perspective, that's where you might run into issues because from the ERP perspective, even though the product is great, SAP S/4HANA, but the majority of the transactions are sitting in that add-on. They are controlling the majority of the processes. And if that is not as well coded, adopted, documented, then you might run into issues. The implementation is going to be slightly more expensive with SAP S/4HANA just because the solution is very large and requires far mature internal IT organization. So that's number 5. Number 4 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO. And FNO has very similar positioning as your Oracle Cloud ERP or SAP S/4HANA. It is slightly more generalized product, but it is comparatively smaller in size compared to your SAP S/4HANA or Oracle Cloud ERP. Those products do really well in that Fortune 500,000 centric organizations. They're the kind of approval layers that you are going to have, or the organizational layers you are going to have, are going to be slightly different. They might not be as meaningful for your mid-market, upper mid-market companies, and that's where your Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO is slightly superior. They are also ahead in their cloud capabilities in general. They are going to have far more operational capabilities supported as part of their cloud version. The other products are not going to be as ahead. For example, SAP's cloud version still is slightly on a leaner side. They don't have the same operational capabilities that you are going to find with your Microsoft Dynamics 365. Well, the other strength that we have with Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO is their ecosystem, which is one of the busiest. So you are going to find many different solutions that you can use to support many different industries, even if those capabilities are not going to be part of the core ERP layers or core product. So again, this is going to be a product when you're looking for slightly more generalized capabilities in many different localizations and countries. When you put that, that's when your Microsoft Dynamics 365 it's going to be a better fit. It is also slightly more customizable just because the development platform and the layers that you have overall from the development perspective are exposed for the customization. In general, even you are going to find this with some of the other ERP products. They are fairly customizable, but with Microsoft Dynamics, and this particular aspect is going to have pros and cons both. The higher flexibility helps so that you are not going to have constraints in the but at the same time, this higher flexibility means that you are bypassing some of the ERP business rules. So we see scenarios where companies over customize, and sometimes they are creating processes that might not be natural from the ERP perspective, or you are trying to automate processes that might be broken to begin with. So in those scenarios, Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO, you might see challenges with this particular. The limitations that you're looking at from the FNO perspective is the last mile capabilities are going to be through your third-party vendors. The implementation may end up being slightly more expensive just because you are dealing with many different vendors, many different add-ons, etc. So that's where you're going to have challenges. And then it also requires mature internal IT organization. So that's number 4. Now, number 3 on our list is Infor Cloud Suite Industrial Sightline. And Infor Cloud Suite Industrial Sightline is the SMB product from Infor. It's designed for companies that are going to be very engineering driven, but they are not going to have as formal engineering processes in mandating revision number, etc., the change control. So if you are going to have slightly fluid engineering processes, then you are going to enjoy your Infor Cloud Suite Industrial a lot more. And then the companies that are going to be slightly more in the field services spaces where they don't have as complex inventory that you are going to require in your spaces such as metal, etc., then your Infor Cloud Suite Industrial is probably going to be a better fit. The strength that we are looking at from the CSI perspective is the bombs are very friendly for the customization. The costing layers are far deeper, in general, far more scalable compared to the other products. So if your primary motivation to implement your ERP is to track your cost, have complete understanding of your costing layers. If your costing layers are changing frequently, for example, let's say if you are going to be in spaces where you utilize a lot of your steel, in those cases, your costing processes will change. So if that is your primary critical success factor, then your Infor CSI product could be a great fit. And if you're going to have field service business model as part of your transactions and you require that to be embedded, you have serial lot control that you need to have as part of your field control. Your scheduling is going to be slightly more intertwined with your field service processes. That's where your Infor CSI shines. Also, for the spaces where you are going to have quality processes intertwined with your ERP layers, that's where CSI is a great fit. The limitations that you are going to run into with CSI is if you are going to have very strong WBS-centric processes, if your manufacturing processes are going to be very project-centric, CSI may not be a better fit, even though they are going to have some capabilities on the project manufacturing. So even though it could be a great product for your discrete verticals where you require other make to order, make to stock, etc., engineer to order could be a great fit, but not for WBS centric processes. Also, if you are going to be in complex spaces where your inventory need to be attributed, for example, your metal, medical device, etc., it might run into challenges just because the core model does not include the attributes as part of your scheduling, etc. And the technology is a legacy, even though it's cloud suite. The interface is still very legacy. Generally, users report steep learning curve with the CSI. So that's number 3. Number 2 on our list is Apicor Kinetic. And Apicor Kinetic is a better fit for industries where you require slightly more formal engineering processes where they mandate your revision number, or they might be heavy on change control. Also, in the complex inventory spaces, for example, metal, medical device, automotive, all of these industries are going to have a lot of attributes that are going to be part of the product. The strengths that you are looking at from the Epicor Kinetic perspective is the support for complex inventory processes. So if you are going to be in any of these spaces where you have very complex inventory, whether you are tracking the heat or you are going to be in those metal spaces, that's where Epicor Kinetic is really strong. Epicor Kinetic also includes a lot more layers. So for example, let's say if you are going to be in discrete manufacturing, but you also do a little bit of e-commerce distribution, then you are going to have distribution centric planning that is going to be included as part of your Epicor Kinetic product that might not be included with the comparable product. For example, Infor CSI is a fairly comparable product, but it is not as strong with the distribution. So if your business model is going to include your manufacturing plus distribution then your Epicor Kinetic may be a superior fit. And then the formal engineering governance, especially if you're going to be in a space such as your aerospace, where they are very rigid about change control, revision number. The limitations that you are going to run into with Epicor Kinetic is not friendly for companies that might not have revision number. So some companies just don't like to use that. They don't want to have those formal processes. Their bombs may not be as structured. If that is the case, then Epicor Kinetic may be the best fit. Then you have some of the field service processes as well as quality processes. They are not embedded as part of your ERP layers. They have acquired a company, from the field services perspective, but those processes might as stable. It might take some time before they get adopted. So that could be a challenge with Epicor Kinetic. And the finance and accounting layers, they are not going to be as strong with some of the other products that we have on this list. So that's number 2. Now, number 1 on our list is Infor Cloud Suite LN. And Infor Cloud Suite LN is designed for discrete manufacturing companies that has the most diversified support for different discrete business models globally. And this is going to be one of the most complete suite that the other solutions that we have on this list, even though they are going to claim that they have mixed mode manufacturing capabilities or they have a lot of components in the suite, but generally they are going to be limited in one of those either manufacturing types or the product types. Or Cloud Suite LN can cover a lot of different grounds, including your discrete manufacturing. Plus, if you are going to be in distribution, etc., then Infor Cloud Suite LN is going to be a great fit. Comparing this with your Infor CSI product as well as your Cloud Suite LN product, CSI is not going to be as strong from the WBS perspective. The Infor Cloud Suite LN is going to be able to support all of those processes, plus your distribution planning, plus you have capabilities such as your handling units, etc. Those are going to be included as part of this product, just because this is a slightly bigger product. The other strengths are going to be your pre-integrated suite, just similar to your any other prescriptive products, and then global capabilities. The limitations that you're looking at from the Infor Cloud Suite LN perspective is this is going to be slightly more expensive. So if you're in the SMB below your $250 million in revenue, this might not be the best fit. You need to go for slightly smaller. The ecosystem and the consulting base, you are going to run into very similar challenges as with any other prescriptive products. So that's going to be a challenge with Infor Cloud Suite LN as well. So that's number 1. If you enjoyed this video, we are also going to include a detailed article that is going to have much deeper analysis. So check that out. Also, we publish these videos on a weekly basis. So like and subscribe on YouTube. Also, this podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, as well as Google. So you might want to check there and subscribe. And if you have not checked our digital transformation report, we highly encourage you to download that. We compiled several of these lists as well as insights to prepare you for your digital transformation journey. So we are going to include the link of that as well. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.